Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Wraith, and today I'm going to be going over my picks for the top 5 heroic actions you can do in Middle-earth strategy battle game, looking at it from a competitive perspective. Now, these things have to have a few things to make them viable on this list. There's not that many heroics you can do, but I've only done 5, so some will be cut out. They've got to help me win games, help me get into some kind of state of where I've got an advantage on the enemy, and some of them are must-haves in lists. Okay, so jumping straight in, the first one I've got is Heroic March. Now, Heroic March doesn't sound like a lot. Basically, all it is you can call it, and you add 3 inches to the movement of infantry models, and an extra 5 inches to cavalry or any kind of model with the fly, special rule, which is fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And the reason I absolutely love this is my hero does not even have to move when calling this. He can just send his blokes in forward and have them do what they need to do. Secondly, I use this quite a lot, like a hell of a lot. I use them for Corsairs of Umbar quite a lot, and other factions as well, but this is a good one, because if I've got a flank on the enemy and I need to wrap around them as quickly as possible, I'll call a heroic march with the left wing with one of my bosuns or my captains, and that essentially will swing my Corsairs round 9 inches rather than 6 to get even further round the flank of the enemy, even behind them. And if he's got a main battle line and I've got one, I'll probably outnumber him most of the time if he's playing anything too high points, but the amount of times I've done this, managed to flank the enemy and the next turn envelop them completely on that flank and destroy that flank, is too many to count. It is one of my common tactics. I absolutely love doing it, and I need it in my game. So, that was the number 5 slot. Moving on to number 4, we have Heroic Combat. Now, the reason I love Heroic Combat is because I can get the most out of my heroes using the Heroic Combat. Especially with heroes like Aragorn or King Elisar, who get a free point of might, and there are even some heroes who get to do it for free, like the Balrog. And basically, this means I get to fight twice in each combat phase, as long as I slay all the enemy models I'm in contact with. So how it works basically is, once in the fight phase, at the start, I'm going to call a Heroic Combat, and that means that combat will take priority. If me and my enemy have called a Heroic Combat, then we have a roll-off, as you would on a tied duel roll, at the same fight value, 1, 2, 3, evil goes, 4, 5, 6, good goes, to see whose Heroic Combat goes off first. And I use Heroic Combats to either get the maximum potential out of Aragorn, because he's got 3 point of might, so it's costing me nothing, and I can kill two models pretty reliably with 4 pluses. If he's on a horse, he's an absolute monster with this, because he's got 4 attacks on the charge, knocking prone, so it's 2 attacks per model. You can easily kill 4 models. Heroic Combat, charge again, and kill 4 more models. Okay? The other thing I can do is use it to slingshot myself round into assassination targets, so captains or even the leader of the enemy force, or go for the banners. So I can get into combat, maybe hit into a flank, kill a couple of guys, and fling myself an extra 10 inches if he's on a horse into the banner that's at the back. It's a really good tactic, and I absolutely love using it. And it can also slingshot you onto objectives as well. So if the objective is over yonder, and you've only got 10 inches, you can reach one set of enemy, or a single enemy, Heroic Combat, and fly yourself into the next set who are standing by the objective, kill them off, and you've got the objective. That's it. That's number 4 slot. Number 3, we have Heroic Defense. One of my favourites, absolute favourites. And the amount of times this has saved my leader's skin is countless. So, I'm just kind of trying to keep it as generic as I can, and I'll try and keep it with a similar hero. So I'm going to go with Strider again. He's actually the perfect example, along with Azog. I've got, say, any hero with defense. We're going to go with Serpent Lord for Serpent Horde. And he's got heroic defense. Aragorn or Bolg, either or, have charged into me. They can have cavalry, everything like that, sure. And so if they've got cavalry, if I lose, I'm going to get knocked over, and I might be trapped, okay? I'm probably going to lose that. Rather than striking and hoping to hell that I roll higher, or if I'm against Strider, he's going to get the Elven Blade special rule because of his super duper Elven Blade lightsaber, I'm just going to Heroic Defense. So your auto for wounding on 4 will suddenly be, you have to roll a natural roll of a 6. Same with Azog, who has he always wounds heroes on 3s. Heroic Defense, he now needs to wound me on 6s, which gives me a chance for the rest of my army to go rescue my poor little leader and get them out of that jam. It's absolutely amazing, and it also works if you've got something really scary in your face, like a Balrog. Okay, you're not going to take a Balrog on your own. You're not going to duel it 1v1. So, Heroic Defense, take the punches. You're okay. You might even win the duel in that situation, but it just keeps you that little bit safer. Well, a hell of a lot safer. There we go. Now, moving on, we got the number 2 slot. Now, the number 1 and number 2 slot were very hard to pick, but I went with this order, and I'll explain why. Number 2 goes to Heroic Strike. And what it does, basically, is you can call Heroic Strike at the start of the combat phase, and that hero then rolls a d6 and adds that number to their fight value. So it's very handy if you're going against a high fight model and they outfight you. Works well against big monsters, so Ents or anything like that. They're like fight ridiculous, fight 7, fight 8. Trolls as well, high fight, things like that. Because you'll get battered into the ground if you don't do it, because monsters are usually very strong, or they can just rend your hero. Wounding on 3s 9 times out of 10. And that's not good. That's not good for business. You could also be trapped at that point, and yeah, it's going to be horrific for you. So, I'd say this is an essential for every army list if you have access to it. If you need strike in your army list, and literally for the 2 reasons I just mentioned there, along with challenging other heroes. Because if you go against a hero that can strike and your leader cannot strike, there's a good chance you're going to lose, because when might gets involved in the rolls, there's a very high chance you're going to be rolling a 6. And it's all about rolling that 6, and then it comes down to fight value. So, I've got Strider fighting Gothmog, and if I strike, Gothmog's definitely going to strike as well. You have a roll off, yeah. But if for some reason I've got a hero that doesn't have strike, he's still the same fight as Gothmog for whatever reason. Gothmog then goes, I'm going to Heroic Strike. It doesn't matter what he rolls, he's going to be higher than me. And if he rolls a 6, you can guarantee he's going to do some really good damage. If he doesn't roll a 6, he's still got 2 spare might and probably a banner lying around somewhere that he can re-roll and then add his might to. So in realistic terms, if he really wants to win that fight, he's got a roll of 4+ on the dual roll with a re-roll sometimes. So that's pretty scary. And if you don't have access to that, you're going to have a disadvantage. You go against Eagles, they're all fight 7, so you're going to need strike on your heroes, because it's a very good way of dealing with monsters. If you surround a monster, Eagle, Ent, Troll, whatever, high fight monster, surround them, trap them, strike with a hero, you're going to roll a 6 because you've got a million attacks because everyone's on them. You can literally delete each one of their monsters. It's very scary, and as a person who plays the Misty Mountains, it's not very nice when it happens to you, but it is a very good tactic, and that's how you should do it. So yeah, that's it. Now, the number 1 slot. It goes to the most commonly used heroic action, and for good reason. It is Heroic Move. And Heroic Move is literally the bread and butter for Middle-earth strategy battle game. Everyone should know what it does. In case you do, it basically lets you pick a hero at the start after you've rolled priority, and that means that hero can move before the opponent. You can say with me and bring everyone within 6 inches. They can all move as well, but they all have to stay within 6 of that hero, and that hero has to move first. So if your hero stood behind a shield wall and you call a heroic move and you want to go forward, you're not going to be able to, because your hero has to move first. So just keep that in mind. On top of that, if you're going against a cavalry charge, you've got Wild Riders in front of you or Knights of Dol and Roth, about to charge you in the face, you're going to be wanting heroic moves. And any hero can do this. You can just bust these out, and you've got to be saving might for the end game for the heroic moves. Because at 9 times out of 10, if you've got might at the end of the game and your opponent hasn't, you've got a very good chance of swinging the tide of battle to your favour. Because you can dictate who moves first near those heroes. You can pin up the enemy models you want to. You can get the charge bonuses for the cavalry you want to, and you can trap the people that you want to. It is massive, absolutely massive. That's my list. So let me know in the comment section down below what you think of my list, and if you rearrange the order in any way, or if I've missed any that you absolutely love, because there are still good heroic actions. If I've missed it, it does not mean it is terrible. But if you think there are better ones, do let me know. Or if you think I've placed something too high or too low, also let me know, because I always like to know what other people's opinions are. On top of that, very soon I'll be having battle reports coming out, and I will put into play everything I say in these videos for you all to see. The only thing I'm lacking is a camera, which I'm saving up for. Hopefully I can find one at a relatively decent price that can do the job. But thank you ever so much. If you're interested in talking about Middle-earth strategy battle games and more, please do join my Discord server. The link is in the description down below. And the group we got in there are absolutely fantastic. They're happy to help everyone out, whether you're new or a veteran. And we come up with tips, tactics, army lists, things like that. It's fantastic. Thank you ever so much for listening. If you did like the video, do hit the like button. And if you're feeling saintly, do hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. But if you don't do either of those things, I still hope you have an absolutely fantastic day. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.